Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and how they won the war, or how they won the election. But anyway, so Putin gets into power. Okay, Cold War's over. Russia's in shambles. The United States is doing really well. You know, George H.W. Bush got defeated by Bill Clinton over economics, and he got in. And even though it was wrought full of scandals, you know, Vince Foster, Travelgate, all the different affairs he had, Hillary Care, which was pretty, you know, was pretty controversial for its time. Waco, which is, you know, a biggie, and of course later on, of course, Alien Gonzalez, and of course the granddaddy of them all, which happened during late in the Clinton administration, which was the Monica Lewinsky scandal. But despite all that stuff, Clinton did really well. He had high favorability ratings, and a lot of it was the fact that Clinton was smart enough to keep his hands on the economy. I mean, he did raise taxes once, but for the most part, because of the dot-com boom and the tech boom, you know, people were making money, hand over fist, right? So now Russia actually got in on that too, and they got bit just like everybody else did when the tech bubble burst. But for Russia was really trying. And one thing you can say about Putin, whether you think he's a despotic, you know, tyrant or whatever, but Putin has tried to bring the country back up, and that's why I think his favorability ratings are so high. Is because he's, you know, kind of a tough guy. He doesn't take no guff from nobody, and of course he walks around shirtless and all that. And be that as it may, I mean, it's, you know, it's all optics, but I think he does, you know, he gets the job done. So anyway, for the most part of the Clinton administration, Putin really didn't do anything to really get on the radar of the international scene. Now he did, you know, of course Georgia, which got pretty ugly, got pretty bloody, and of course Chechnya did too. But for the most part, he didn't really do anything to really warrant the rest of Europe to. As a matter of fact, the rest of Europe actually began to court him. And of course, the oil pipeline going into Germany, and there's you know, several things that Putin did to kind of bring himself into the European community. Well, the Clinton administration came and went, and I think it's safe to say that, now it may have been pretty benign, but I think it's safe to say that at some point Putin and Hillary Clinton may have came in contact with each other. Yeah, and I guess that's probably pretty benign. I mean, she was just the first lady or whatever, but he probably, you know, because Bill was the president, he probably came in contact with Bill and Hillary, and now what their actual relationship is, I don't know. I mean, I really can't say. I'm not going to speculate on it. I mean, if it was too bad, I think we would have heard something, you know, by this point. So, but anyway, now the Clintons got along with Putin, and of course Bush, G.W. Bush, got along with Putin relatively well. As a matter of fact, Putin was actually pretty nice to G.W. Them two actually had a lot of respect for each other. Why that is, I don't know, but they did. You know, I mean, as a matter of fact, Russia, a lot of people kind of forgot about this, but when we invaded Iraq the second time, Putin actually helped Bush out. You know, he actually he kind of contacted a few of the old Soviet bloc countries and kind of, you know, asked them if they would help out, and you know, some of the pro-Putin people were kind of secretly helping the United States out in their endeavors to get into Iraq and stuff like that. But anyway, the Bush administration and Putin got along pretty well, and now the Obama administration and Putin did not get along very well. Nobody knows why, right? Nobody knows. Maybe I've heard that, you know, President Obama disrespected Vladimir Putin. I've heard that Vladimir Putin always thought he was just a pencil neck geek and a weasel. You know, talking about President Obama. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, they just don't get along, right? I mean, it's kind of safe to say, right? Putin got pretty brazen when President Obama got in the White House, and it started. There's little you know, tidbits of things here and there, but it really kind of came to a head when the Russians invaded the Ukraine. Right now, the Ukraine is dangerously close to the European mainland, and of course, a lot of Europeans were basically scared that Putin was going to kind of push in, right? And then when in the Middle East, Putin began to kind of lend his services to I'm totally blanking his name, the guy from Syria, right? Assad, right? He's began to lend his name and his people to Assad. And of course, that really upset the United States because we were trying to passive aggressively get him to fall, to topple, and of course, it wasn't happening. So Putin was kind of reinstating Russian power in the Middle East which is something they hadn't been able to do since the 60s and the 70s. And he also was kind of moving across Europe. He got into Ukraine, got that port city. Now, nobody knows how far he's willing to go. And like I said, the Europeans are getting really nervous. They're afraid he might try to, take Poland. Or now, as crazy as that may sound, I mean, who knows? And if he would have done that, hell, World War III, because Poland's very much a part of the NATO and the European Union. So President Obama had kind of a problem because him being a hard lefty, he can't just get up there and say, oh, by the way, we're going to send all these troops to Europe and stave off Putin. Well, the hard left would have had a total meltdown, right? And he has an extremely high favorability rating, but he wouldn't after something like that. And B, I think it's that old Cold War fear that nobody wants to get in a shooting war with Russia because we don't know what they're capable of, and they may have underestimate us. So and beside that, things would get super ugly, right? Because both sides have tons of weapons of mass destruction aside from nuclear weapons. We just totally take those off the table. So I think Putin, I think he's despotic, but I think he's not stupid. And I think that he knows that something like that could very well threaten his power. It could get him toppled, right? If we got the United States and Europe got in a shooting match with the Russians. So anyway, the Obama had to come up with something pretty clever to get Putin from stopping without provoking him into a conflict, an actual conflict. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you how I think this is where my theory comes in. This is what I think he actually did, and this is going to segue into Julian Assange and Donald Trump. So anyway, I'll be back here in a jiff. So.